Human history seems as if it is one long tale of conquest, invasion, and rebellion. But what of a future war against a non-human invader? How would we respond to extraterrestrial weapons and attack strategies, or to the shocking devastation of the initial attack? What weapons and strategies would we have? How, if at all, could mankind fight back?
What would society look like after we were crushed by an invasion? It would be very primitive. It would be a society that's trying to rebuild itself, trying to recreate the systems that were just destroyed.
Dr. Thomas Fry is the executive director of the Da Vinci Institute, a futurist think tank dedicated to spotting the major cultural, demographic, societal, and economic shifts of the future. Sometimes, he also thinks about worst-case scenarios.
Survival of the species would be, obviously you would engage all human beings in that type of battle. I mean, you all have to be on the same page.
You just can't do it. There's always someone that survives, and history has shown that time and time again. No matter how many people you slaughter, there's always going to be more.
We tend to forget that there's a whole nother world out there, and you've got countries like India and China. They actually may be more durable, just because they don't rely on as advanced technology as we do. In any case, humans are pretty inventive.
One of the greatest advantages you've got in facing an enemy, whether he be extraterrestrial or terrestrial, is if he's attacking you. You see, you've got the home field advantage, so to speak.
Even against the insurmountable odds posed by an alien invader, that very simple knowledge, the ability to adapt within a familiar environment, would play a pivotal role in man's counterattack. It's a common theme throughout the history of armed resistance.
Leonidas and his 300 Spartans held off the Persian horde. Clearly they made great use of terrain. Another example would be to go to colonial Africa back in the late 19th century. The British sent out an armed force to deal with the Zulu, and there was a battle called Islandawana, and a British column was almost wiped out to a man by several Zulu impi carrying cowhide shields and short spear swords.
Use the environment against him. The environment itself, the initial, earliest primitive weapon. Can you throw rocks at him? Sure you can. Can you make sharpened stakes and foul them with fecal matter so that if he cuts or scrapes himself on it, he becomes a casualty? Sure you can.
But where would the resistance begin? Most likely, Earth's defense would have to begin in centers of modern development, government, and mass population. In other words, cities.
Most combat today ends up being in populated areas. Why? Because almost all parts of the world that are of interest to one party or another are populated areas.
I think all wars are going to head towards in that direction, where all battles will be guerrilla warfare. And guerrilla warfare is going to become radically different than anything that we know today.
There's no doubt that next generation invading force is going to have advanced technology. Here, we're making the technological advances and research to make sure that we're ready for that next generation threat, no matter what it is.
Dutch de Gay is a future military technology expert and lead researcher with the United States Army Soldier Systems Center in Natick, Massachusetts. It is here the Army tests and equips the military technologies of the future.
When we talk about what the future soldier that we want, we look at, as bad as I hate to say it, that Iron Man type of soldier that has an exoskeleton that allows him or her to carry an unlimited amount of weight. Integration into they're essentially a walking node inside a network to push or pull data. New ammunition, new weapons, new capabilities like physiological monitoring so that I see how the soldier performs. Better night vision, better thermal imaging, those things that really make that next generation soldier the most lethal thing walking inside the battle space.
The combat technology of the future is not only inspired by science, but also science fiction.
the exoskeleton is a prime example. When the second Aliens movie came out, there's a specific rig that Sigourney Weaver got in that was an exterior powered system that was used to lift weight inside this futuristic space platform. The folks inside the Department of Defense went, that was a great idea, why can't we make that happen? So about 8 years ago, the exoskeleton program was started inside the Department of Defense, and to this day, we actually have 2 live exoskeleton prototypes that we're developing. So really, we always kind of lean toward the sci-fi realm to see potentially what could be our next generation soldier. We just now have the technological ability to catch up with what that sci-fi vision is.
No one knows what enemies are waiting and watching us, studying us and preparing. While experts consider the most severe of future possibilities, they also generally agree that an advanced alien force could just as likely focus on exploration as extermination.
If there is another alien species out there, most likely we're not going to see someone kind of, popping over Saturn with, a rocket ship that looks like a souped up space shuttle or something like that, and they're kind of, loaded up with laser cannons.
I think by the time we're able to travel to some other solar system, by the time we're able to advance our technology, our society to a point of colonizing other planets, I think we will also take that attitude. I mean, we wouldn't go travel to some other solar system to try to destroy people.
If they're hostile, it's going to be something so preposterously different and unimaginable to us that, like I said, I suspect we'll never know what happened. If they're benevolent, it'll be the best thing that ever happened to us as a species.